Asmara is under martial law, ruled by the army. The soldiers are jumpy, patrolling hostile streets. 6 months ago, they fought a pitched battle with the guerrillas here in Asmara. Afterwards, the troops ran amok, looting, raping and killing. Now they are feared and hated. Asmara is quiet. Once busy streets are deserted. Since January, there's been a curfew from dusk until dawn. It is wise to be early indoors. It's not hard for the guerrillas to penetrate Asmara. The city's a warren of small streets and back alleys. The soldiers can control the city, but only by the law of the gun. The people regard them as an army of occupation. The revolutionary government of Ethiopia doesn't relish the oppression it practices here, but believes it's defending the unity, even the survival of the nation. Ethiopia is placed in a sensitive corner of Africa on the southern edge of the Middle East. The Red Sea is a strategic point in the balance of world power. Apart from Ethiopia, almost all the coastline is controlled by Arabs, but Ethiopia's vital Red Sea border is within the province of Eritrea. Arab states, seeking more power there, support the guerrillas. In Eritrea, the Ethiopian army controls the towns, the guerrillas the countryside. The war takes place along the main roads. On the mountain road between Asmara and Keren, troops of the 2nd Division patrol in convoy, 200 soldiers at a time. For 6 months, they've fought to keep this road open. Battles are frequent, ambush is common. Many soldiers have died. They pass silent, frequently hostile villages. The guerrillas claim that 34 villages have been bombed or burned by the army. The army admits to the destruction of 6. The army can win a pitched battle, but not a guerrilla war. The rebels launch sudden attacks, then disappear into the mountain night. The war in Eritrea has now lasted 14 years, but never has it been so fierce, never has it cost so much. Nearly half the Ethiopian army is pinned down, holding Eritrea. On the way to Keren, the army convoy meets another. 200 grain trucks brought to a halt on their way east to Asmara, bringing food, the first for many weeks, from the northwest of Ethiopia, 300 miles away. The guerrillas have blown up a bridge over a mountain river. The road's impassable. It's now the rainy season. After a storm, the river floods. The trucks have had to wait until the water goes down. It's dangerous here. 3 days before, there was an ambush. The convoy is guarded by troops who escort it all the way through the rebel territory. A little way up the road, the 2nd Division soldiers fan out to clear the way. It's a thorough search. Only the government knows how many men have died in ambush in Eritrea. The army admits a loss of 250 men since January. The real figure must be much higher. When the flood subsides and the road is clear, the first of 200 lorries negotiates the river bed. It will take over 6 hours for all of them to pass. An economy cannot afford such chaos for long. Eritrea drains Ethiopia of resources she can't afford to fight a war she can't win. In Keren, 60 miles from Asmara, there are more waiting, hungry people. They've walked, most of them, from villages sometimes far away to buy grain, only to find that there's no grain on sale. Like those in Asmara, these Eritreans do not speak openly, but say in secret that they are an oppressed people who live in fear. Only 3 months ago, this deserted grain market was filled with corn. It was closed by the army to stop civilians feeding guerrillas. The problem of Keren is the problem of Eritrea. On the one hand, a population which is frightened and hungry. On the other, an army which can control the towns, but not the countryside around, which regards all civilians as potential supporters of guerrillas, and therefore all grain as potential food for the enemy. An enemy can be anyone. This man was one of 22 innocent civilians brought into Keren Hospital after soldiers had run riot. At least 6 people were slaughtered by the troops. This man was beaten up in town by troops returning from an unsuccessful raid against the guerrillas. This peasant was shot while he worked innocently on his land. The army admits what happened and deeply regrets it, but news of the incident spreads and the memory won't be erased.
They came to my home and they hit me. They hit me with a stick and
with the butt of the
barrel of the gun.
And is this the same kind of thing that happened to most of the other 22 who were wounded?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it was that.
Yeah.
So it was indiscriminate shots.
Yeah, in different places.
Do they know, were people killed this day as well?
They said mostly are villagers.
Who were killed? Do they have any idea how many villagers were killed that day? But he is certain that some were killed.
Yeah.
General ጌታቸው Nadeውን, the martial law administrator of Eritrea and commander of the army here, rules the province from Asmara. This is the first time he's permitted any reporter or film crew to enter Eritrea for 6 months. He admits that his overriding problem is to isolate guerrillas from peasants, that the rebels can move freely in the country. He believes that the army must hold Eritrea to preserve Ethiopia. But does he keep food from the people?
We may, of course, restrict, to give more food to the people. Otherwise, we don't want to, let the people dying by hunger.
I have seen hungry people, General, in the last day.
Yeah, you might have seen that. Where was it?
Both in the city here and in Keren.
Well, you may see that. I don't know. I don't deny that. You may see, but nobody reported that to me. And we have distribution center here, the Muslim, the Catholics, and ourselves, the government. I don't think these people came and reported to me.
General, how long do you think the struggle is going to go on for?
Oh, well, this, of course, I can't tell for how long, but this is, of course, a high policy.
Does the solution have to be a political solution, in your view?
Well, I don't think this is a political solution. You know, this is a absolutely complicated situation. But this is a different organization and different countries who are helping these guerrillas, and which maybe they want to harm the country itself. Otherwise, they know that they will never separate Eritrea from Ethiopia.
So you think the fighting will therefore go on for some time?
Yes, it will.
The Eritrean war in the north threatens the Ethiopian revolution. In the south, the country faces another crisis. On the disputed border between Ethiopia and Somalia, in the region called the Ogaden, lives a nomadic people, Somali by race, Ethiopian by nationality. Here, in a barren desert, the nomads and the government of Ethiopia confront a disaster, the disaster of famine in the Ogaden. This bleak land, 600 miles from the province of Wollo, where famine struck 2 years ago, has been without rain for 4 years. The nomads wandered in search of food for their animals which were dying. The people grew hungry. Ethiopia asked the world for help, but the world, seeing no